Hey guys, All in Crypto here and welcome back ladies and gentlemen for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a fantastic Tuesday and a great week so far. Today we're going to be diving into Cardano, and straight off the bat ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you guys that it's okay. Everything is A-OK. I'm seeing a lot of fear gripping the crypto space, especially Cardano given the FUD storm that it's kind of come under. But things are okay guys. What you're experiencing in the charts right now is just a pullback. And until we see signs that this is more than a pullback, and perhaps the entire macro trend that we have set in place for not only Cardano, but Bitcoin and a number of other things has reversed, there is no reason to panic. And in actual fact, in a bull market, dips are for buying, not crying. And I do not understand the negativity in association with crypto right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you have an opportunity. We're going to get into a lot in this video, but I need to say this because I think some people are standing on very shaky ground. And in this game, in the investment game, you need to have done your due diligence. That will allow you to root yourself within the ground like a tree, so that whenever there's a gust of wind, you don't get blown all over the place. And that's what we see time and time again happening with retail in the crypto space. There is clear differences between a retracement, a pullback after an impulsive move to the upside, and a trend reversal. And right now, for Cardano, and we're going to get into a lot in this video, and Bitcoin and crypto as a whole, you're just seeing a reversal. The people calling for a bear market and saying it's showing all the signs of a bear market, why do you believe that? Because we saw a 19% correction? I mean, that must be the first 19% correction that Bitcoin's seen. We've seen 19% corrections multiple times within the same month, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, we saw a 54% correction and recovered from it. And the reason these people are coming on saying that we're in a bear market is because guess what? They sold down here thinking that we were going into a bear market. And now they're bitter and trying to convince everybody else of what they fell for. So please don't get shaken out. This is still a retracement. Cardano has unbelievably bright things coming around the corner. We know that we have the entire DeFi space emerging. Yesterday we spoke about Paribus, which is a DeFi protocol being built on top of Cardano that is going to be cross-chain, cross-asset in terms of borrowing and lending. Guys, the future is a very bright one, and this is the life cycle logarithmic chart of Bitcoin. We're still very early in the adoption curve. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't going to be ups and downs within that. Of course there are. Who told you that you invest into something and it just goes straight up and then you take your money out? It's not that simple, guys. There's ups and downs, ebb and flows in everything in life. And that's what you're experiencing right now. And it's these low points that make the high points so special. And you need to remember that. I mean, how many of you guys bought down here? And then how good were you feeling up here? And then you're probably going to feel down here and up, down. You know, you need to get past this. If you've done your due diligence, you should be exceptionally confident. I certainly am. That's just an opening statement that I wanted to make before we get into the meat of this video. We have got a lot to cover. We're going to be going over some news-related things, such as the fact that Bitstamp are about to launch Cardano. This is going to kind of divide the liquidity pool for exchanges up even more, which can kind of have quite a good effect in regards to sell pressure to the downside, because you can run out of liquidity easier if the liquid supply is spread among more exchanges. And there's kind of a boycott with certain exchanges to list Cardano. So this is a good step in the right direction. These guys are bigger in the EU than really anywhere else. Not the biggest exchange, I think like fifth or sixth or something like that, but still significant. What I'm going to do, guys, is make my face a little bit smaller, which I'm sure you guys will appreciate. We're also going to be talking about the CoinShare report, because we know that Cardano led the charge on the last report, but it seems to be one of the first times that we've seen a negative inflow to Cardano via CoinShare. So we're going to get into all that towards the end of the video. Really where I want to start is talking to you guys about what's actually going on with ADA right now. And what's happening with Cardano is really all down to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still very much the driver of value within the space. So if it has a bad day, it will take it out on the altcoins. We know that's very selfish of it, but hey ho, that's just how it is. The market as a whole is still very tethered to Bitcoin. And crypto, given its size, given its clout now, has become part of the kind of macroeconomic outlook. So when certain levers and mechanics within that macroeconomic structure get moved, there are effects among it. So what we're seeing right now in relation to Bitcoin, guys, and this is Bitcoin here, and I'm gonna make a video after this where we're gonna really talk in a lot more detail about Bitcoin, where we are in the cycle, what's likely to continue, are we looking at maybe a prolonged cycle, etc., etc. After this video where we're going to break down prior cycles, look at the fact that in actual fact, this cycle, for the first time ever, was above a prior cycle. And this was really due to, of course, what happened in March 2020. I'll put it on this chart. You can see March 2020 over here, guys. This is what happened in March 2020, and this inflationary event is really what's catapulted Bitcoin to where it is. And this is why I believe we've seen such a prolonged downturn, if you will, whereas the ones in 2017 were kind of more short and sweet, more snappy. But due to the macro inflationary event causing people to get out of the dollar and go into other things, this has kind of sped this up, and what comes up must come down in not only crypto but investing as a whole. If you see a very sharp incline, expect a recovery or a pullback that kind of matches that. So back to what I was saying, Cardano is really just a prisoner, if you will, of Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin loses strength, Cardano might want to run. We've got exceptionally bullish news around the corner, guys. Unbelievably bullish news around the corner in relation to the DeFi ecosystem that's being built on Cardano. Cardano is one of those blockchains that has been built to last. It's here to stay, guys. Whereas there's many blockchains all the time, the competitors to Cardano. Something's happened here, there's been a DeFi hack, this has happened, that has happened. And this is because people often rush to markets, whereas what Cardano have done is they've peer-reviewed everything, and then they've had it audited by third parties, so that when they go into battle, they're prepared. So back to kind of what I was saying, getting very sidetracked, getting a little bit sick of all the negative comments in relation to ADA, people saying that it's an SHIT coin, which I just absolutely don't believe. I have there's no merit to what a lot of what's being said. This is a tweet from Charles. I truly enjoy the narrative about Cardano is changing from a ghost chain with no use and utility to how Cardano on how will Cardano handle all this congestion. Blocks are full, dApps are turning on. Dogs bark, the caravan moves on. And this is exactly correct, ladies and gentlemen. There's a FUD campaign, if you will, in relation to ADA, and it's really not warranted. Certainly, I think the next couple of months are going to be very revealing on both the for and against side. And I've seen the alternative argument, guys, and I'd much rather be on the side of the fence that I'm on. So Bitcoin is seeing a downturn really due to the fact that the dollar is gaining strength. It's no surprise your dollar does this. Can you guys see this okay? Yeah. Your dollar does this. What does Bitcoin do? Let's put some lines on the chart just to really illustrate this to you. What I'm going to do actually is draw all over this because I really want to show you just how correlated the dollar and Bitcoin are. And this, the reason I'm bringing this up, I'm going to do a longer video on it after this one, is because Cardano is a part of the crypto space. The crypto space is largely tethered to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has now become part of the kind of financial realm, if you will, the global financial realm, and things that happen within that are going to have a direct effect on it, like in the same way that anti-fiats and other things like that get affected by a dollar strength. So let's just really highlight this. So this was your March sell-off. What I'm going to do is delete all this, guys, to really give you a clear chart. So you can see March 2020, when we had the event where everything kind of shut down, Bitcoin crashed along with a lot of other things out there. I think Tesla went down to like $93. The dollar goes up. Why does the dollar go up? Because people look for liquidity. What they're trying to do is hedge the downturn via going into something that's liquid like the dollar, which has some sort of a relative stableness in events like that. And then what they'll do is buy back. And that's exactly what we saw. So this happened here. Then, of course, we get the floodgates of inflation. $7 trillion printed, ladies and gentlemen, in the US. This is 10 years ago. This was make-believe numbers. In 2008, this was make-believe given the scale of the crash that we had back then. This would have been unfathomable. But now, whatever. You can see that you have a downturn. Then with the inflationary event, the dollar comes down. What do we see Bitcoin do? we see Bitcoin go up. Little bit of strength here for the dollar. Bitcoin down. Weakness on the dollar. Bitcoin back up. Little bit of strength down. Can you see this? And then you get to this point. Strength down. Can you see this? I hope this is as correlated as I can possibly make it. You come up here. So you can see what you can see. These areas are replicated. So you can see the thing moving here as it is over here. You come up, and then dollar starts to gain strength. And look what happens to Bitcoin. This is really on the whim. You can see dollar goes down. It's so correlated, guys. Dollar goes up. Bitcoin goes down. Dollar goes down. Bitcoin goes up. And Bitcoin goes down, dollar goes up, or really it's the dollar that goes up, which causes Bitcoin to do what it does. So this is what you've got to understand as somebody who's investing in the crypto space. Not all the answers lie within the crypto space, and in relation to Cardano, the reason I'm showing you this is because Cardano is hostage by Bitcoin. Bitcoin is hostage by the global financial systems, or landscape is a way better word for it. So this is something that you've absolutely got to pay in mind. We're still in a retracement for ADA. I'm not majorly happy with the fact that we're kind of trapped within this kind of golden pocket, although it's potentially a beautiful double bottom that we've seen here. But if you look at last time, we were kind of trapped in a range. Certainly if the market's showing sort of relative weakness, I mean, we're failing to get above a number of levels. We're still kind of consolidating under this EMA. Let's take a look on the daily where we're at. Yeah, we're still miles ahead on the daily. Quite common though, guys, when you're this far away from your EMA, you will kind of come up to retest it. In the same way that you're well overextended to the upside, you will kind of come back down to greet it at some point. So you're just going for a little bit of downturn. Let me ask you guys a question. Now, we're all expecting, and this is a perfect summary of this. This has been shared about a lot on Twitter today. You can see that these are the kind of cycles, and this is really tying into the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, and this is why everyone thinks that we're going to end in a 2017 or prior to that 2013-esque style, and you can see that, of course, we are very much following it on a number of levels quite nicely, and we're yet to see this kind of last blow-off, if you will, which could absolutely be coming. It's not too late for that. Now, altcoins, we know, topped out within January, many of them. Altcoins, essentially, you can see it very clearly if we had some of the altcoins. Altcoins topped off on this kind of second peak here within January, whereas Bitcoin had topped out earlier. So I'm absolutely expecting altcoins to go into next year. We've always said that. But I'm still anticipating that we do see a bit of a rise, or a significant rise, certainly towards the end of the year. Now, with Cardano, this could be absolutely correlated with dApps starting to launch. Still on shaky ground with when dApps are actually going to launch. Nobody's really giving any exact dates, which of course is a wise thing to do because these things take time. And we live in this kind of world where everything has to be done now. And if it's not done now, then it's no good. The whole point of investing is to put your money into something and watch it grow over time. Unless you're a trader that's looking for those swings within the price, and volatility is really, this market is a dream to trade if you're a trader, certainly a volatility trader, because of how volatile it is, and there's opportunities all over the place. But as an investor, the key is billionaires were made in the bear market, and the price literally did nothing for 2 years. Certainly in relation to ADA, stayed around that 2 cents mark. And billionaires were made in that time period, and that was probably one of the worst times to hodl. In hindsight, it was one of the best, and this is how these markets work, guys. So you've got nothing to worry about. This is still a retracement after an impulsive move to the upside, and we are going to see new all-time highs in continuation very, very quickly. And like I say, Bitcoin could be in some sort of a play like this. If it does sell off even more, we'll see this, of course, show up on the dollar. Expect the entire market to sell off with it. But ultimately, this is still a bull market, guys. There's no bear market signs here just yet. And if there are, we tell you. There's no reason for us to not be honest about the sort of signals that we're seeing. One thing that I want to point out on here, which is very interesting, is the fib levels. But we're bringing this up for a number of reasons. you can see if you look at where you typically bottom out, we'll show you the wave one just to start. Can you see this range here around about the golden pocket? Let's bring that down. Round about your 618 and round about this, you know, can you see this? If you look at this second impulsion, that's not the Fibonacci retracement, so look at where you bottom out. You see 618, your golden pocket. Can you see this? In this kind of range here, the golden pocket that we have. Look at where you are today, ladies and gentlemen, in that golden pocket. So that's actually quite a good sign. Could be a good indication that we have bottomed. There are a number of things that suggest we potentially could have. There is always still the possibility of more downside. Like I say, this is going to be largely dependent on Bitcoin and the kind of macro crypto market. But this structure that we have is still 100% in play. 100% in play. And where I believe you are is currently in your 2 wave, within your 5th wave. So you're currently here, ready to embark on that 3rd wave, which I think is going to take you towards $7, $6-7. Certainly, if we follow a true Elliott wave theory and it's bigger than the 1 wave, which was like 200 and something percent, and then we'll kind of, you know, see this 4th wave pull back before that 5th wave. So I still think there's plenty more to come, and I still think now is absolutely a good time to hodl. This is really what markets are going through. Certainly, Cardano is very parallel to this. It's almost identical to this, guys. You're seeing accumulation, you come up, you get that distribution. This is where we are now. You're in that accumulation range, and we've been saying this for a long time, and I think this is absolutely going to become true, and you're seeing something similar to this play out. We see it time and time again within markets, so I don't think there's any reason to worry, and that was really one of the main takeaways from this video. And this structure doesn't get invalidated until your retractive wave, your 2 or your 4, comes below where you started your 1. So if your 2 came below where you started your 1, the whole structure is invalidated. If your 4 came below your 3, whole structure is invalidated. And that plays out on a smaller and a larger time frame. And to date, you've not done that, guys. So this is still absolutely valid and in play. Very quickly, we're about to get listed on Bitstamp tomorrow. They're not the largest exchange, but it's still significant and kind of shrinks that liquidity pool, if you will. Still got this in play. Remember, this is our Cardano cheat sheet that we've got. You're just going a little bit longer, and you kind of spending a bit more time in what seems to be that depression stage right now. Now, the CoinShares report shows that Cardano actually, for the first time in a long time, has actually seen a negative inflow, where we've seen people actually take out. A few things here. If you look at this on a year to date, or even a month to date, you can see that we're still actually doing quite well. It's only really Solana and, of course, Ethereum and Bitcoin, which we know are institutional go-tos, if you will, that are really beating us. But certainly on the weekly, we didn't do too well. But last week, we were actually the leader in the pack. So this says a lot. And ultimately, you know, these things change. It's really the flavour of the month. It's like retail in some ways. They'll go with what they see a profit potential on the immediate time frame in. But what's coming for Cardano, guys, it should have you guys absolutely stoked. It's got me stoked. I don't think there's any reason to panic. I think this is really just a hodl zone, accumulate zone, ready for what we all know is around the corner. And that is really all I have for you in this video. Rather a longer and drawn out video, but hey-ho, I thought there was quite a lot to say. Certainly, as we didn't do a Cardano video specifically yesterday, we did a project to come out of Cardano that we were very bullish on and think is a potential altcoin jam. Remember, guys, we do have the stake pool. We nearly have 1 million Cardano delegated to us. This is absolutely phenomenal, guys, and a huge thank you to each and every one of you delegators out there. There is also a link to our Discord in the description. I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays.